Good morning, everyone. The topic I'm presenting is a recent case we had in our unit. It was Mrs. A 40-year-old lady, a daily wage laborer who was referred from Chittor with complaints of ulcers over the tips of bilateral fingers and toes since 3 years, which was intermittent resolving, and since 1 year, last 1 year, it had been persistent over the left finger digits, and also numbness and pricking sensation over bilateral hands and legs since the last 3 years, with worsening of symptoms from extending from her palms. It has extended up to the forearms, and from the sole it has extended up to the legs over the last few months. There's also a history of intermittent multiple joint pains present with no swelling or morning stiffness. Among other history, she also gave history of difficulty in doing fine motor movements and also not able to appreciate hot and cold temperature of objects, with history of slipping of slippers present while walking since the past 2 years. No other motor history she had, no other cranial involvement or no other history suggestive of any CTD. Treatment history wise, she had taken multiple treatments outside. Initial details we didn't know, but the recent treatment which she took was she was managed as a probable rheumatic arthritis and was started on HCQ and sulfasalazine 1 to 2 months back, but with no improvement she had stopped it. On examination, patient was conscious, her vitals were stable, all pulses were well felt. Her this on local examination wise, she had bilateral digital ulcerations present with wet gangrene on the left thumb and also a serous discharge from the left later finger present. On the bilateral feet, the ulcers, while the feet there was no ulcers, it had resolved. There was also noted to have hypopigmented patches present over the bilateral scapula and also over the bilateral thighs, posterior and lateral aspect, but which were normoaesthetic. So, systemic examination wise, CNS wise, she was found to have left hand, there was a decreased motor power of 3 to 4, but because of the ulcers, she was not exactly able to help with, because of the pain and because of the decreased motor, she was not able to exactly grade it. Otherwise, her deep tendon flexors were absent, bilateral plantars were flexors, and sensory system examination, it was suggestive of a small and large fiber involvement. Other systemic examination was normal. So we have a clinical syndrome of a chronic progressive sensory motor neuropathy involving bilateral distal limbs which are symmetrical, left more than the right side, with large and small fiber features with no UMN features, and indicating a glove and stocking pattern with digit ulcerations. So the differentials which we considered with this clinical syndrome, initially we were considered as a probable vasculitis with more of a medium and small vessel, medium with associating with PAN and small vessel with secondary associations. Inflammatory main sarcoidosis was the initial consideration. Along with that, other differential we consider Hansen's and probable malignancy. The other differential for just the polyneuropathy considered was metabolic causes of diabetes, hypothyroidism, between vitello and uremia. So the initial lab parameters which showed initial lab parameters of CBC, RFT and LFT were normal. The metabolic parameters were also ruled out. Her ANCAs were negative, RF, NT-CCP were negative, SSA, SSB and UN RMP was negative. EMG NCV done showed a sensory predominant axonal polyneuropathy which was affecting lower limb more than the upper limbs. Small fiber neuropathy involving lower limbs. We also got the X-rays of the hand done just to look for any features of any osteomyelitis. We did not show any features. So we went back, re-examined her. She was initial examination we were not able to find, but the re-examination she was found to have a prominent left ulnar thickening with a left radial thickening also present, and the left scapular patch was compared to the right side. It was found to be very decreased sensation over there. So we reconsidered our differentials because of the thickened nerves and hypoaesthetic patch. Hansen's we brought it up, and other differentials were also decreased down, removing other differential like SLE were removed. So we sent for with the help of derm, we got a skin smears done which showed a bacterial index from the right ear as 2+. and from the right cheek as one. Skin biopsies was also done, which showed a special strain for AFB. So we got a diagnosis of a Hansen's disease, multibacillary with multibacillary borderline tuberculoid. So our final diagnosis considered was Hansen's disease, multibacillary with a gangrene, left thumb and little finger. Coming to the topic, leprosy is diagnosed basically with one of the following with at least one of the following cardinal signs: either a definite loss of sensation, or a in the pale reddish skin patch, thickened enlarged nerves with loss of sensations and or weakness of muscles, or a presence of acid-fast bacilli in a slit skin smear. The presence of all three has a 97% sensitivity. The prevalence in India as per the 2008 WHO is 0.67. We are at present of a national leprosy eradication program. Still, the latest guidelines shows among the 7 countries, we still contain 60% of the leprosy burden. Our current this annual case detection rate of Vellore, which was last, was 0.4 per 10,000. Same thing like the paucibacillary versus multibacillary, with paucibacillary having more than 5 lesions. The one thing which I wanted to emphasize is leprosy basically has been known to have mimicking multiple rheumatic conditions, but among that there was also we found this case report because initially we thought in terms of more of a vasculitic lesions as probable as a vasculitis. I found 4 case reports where it was all except for the first case where it was an elderly lady of age of 58. Other case reports were mainly considered an age group of 30 to 40 age group, with more of all females, and with 3 out of this 5 case reports were being treated as a probable PAN, with later diagnosed to the skin biopsy or a nerve biopsy diagnosed to have a leprosy. So besides the mimicking vasculitis, leprosy also it's basically presents mainly with can present with basically as a pure neuropathy also, or acute neuritis also. Mainly if it's a tuberculoid, they will usually present with as a mononeuropathy or mononeuritis multiplex because of a more intense immune response which prevents it from spreading further. Whereas in the lepromatous, because of a heavy viral load, it has a more of a diffuse involvement, and they usually present with a symmetrical polyneuropathies. The prevalence in one study which was done in Brazil with 19 patients was found to have most common was found to have a mononeuritis multiplex with 61%, followed by mononeuropathy and a polyneuropathy with 6% only. In our patient with a diagnosis of Hansen's disease, he was started on a multibacillary regime with rifampicin, clofazimine and dapsone, and along which we have discharged the patient. We have planned for follow-up. Along with the wet gangrene, we have also waited for the pus culture, which showed a MSSA, following which we have recently been started with amoxiclav because of the foul-smelling discharge. Along with the normal saline dressings have been done, and we have also asked for an HLRS review, which is still pending. We have also advised the patient on soft shoe wear and about keeping clean. So, the take-home points which I would learn from this case is symmetrical polyneuropathy with digital ulcers and no obvious skin lesion, because initially it was more of a normal aesthetic patch which we consider as a vasculitis. But in a country like ours where still leprosy is quite prevalent, leprosy still should be considered as a higher up in the differentials.
Any questions or comments? Would your patient, would you consider erythema nodosum type reaction in this patient?
Sorry, sir?
Would you consider EN here?
Sir, for this, the type 2 reaction wise, the case reports which are presented, everyone had presented with a type 2 reaction most of them. In our case, our patient did not have any feature suggestive of any lepra reaction. So.